Hey everybody, Ryan Grant here, and in today's video I'm going to be taking you guys through one in particular huge mistake that rookie gym goers slash beginner gym goers love to make for some reason. They love to do this, but little do they know it stalls their progress. It basically holds them back, right? So if you want to stay in the clear and you want to avoid this and get around it, then I highly suggest you watch until the end of this video, my friends. So without further ado, let's get into the mistake that I'm talking about. So the mistake in particular that's in concern for us in today's video is mimicking advanced lifters, rookies and beginners. For some reason, they love to do it, right? And I'm going to explain to you why this is bad. But this can just consist of, copying everything they do, repeating everything they do, buying everything that they're promoting. All these influencers online, they're promoting stuff, all these supplements, their $15 workout programs. Your favorite influencer might be selling training programs now. You can get this body natural in 90 days. They're probably not natural. You know what I'm saying, because there's probably many people like that. And doing every single exercise that they tell you to do, doing the best exercises that they tell you to do. And this is not the way forward if you're a beginner or a rookie in the gym, and I'm going to explain to you why that is the case. So there are a few different reasons why this is not going to work for you. If you see a proper advanced gym goer who's got your dream physique, they're selling a program, and you try and copy everything bit by bit, why it's not going to work for you if you are a beginner. So first of all, you're not them, all right? And you may be thinking, I want to become them, so I'm going to be doing stuff like them. No, mate. No. Doesn't work like that in this game, alright? There's a couple of reasons why this is the case. First of all, different things work for different people, okay? What you may like to do may not necessarily be what another person likes to do. And what you may enjoy, another person may not necessarily enjoy. For example, if your favourite exercise is bench press, but your favourite guru and this training program is telling you that, bench press isn't optimal and you've got to do this instead, and you do that but you don't necessarily enjoy it, then that is not going to get you anywhere, because the first step to being successful in something is actually enjoying it and having an interest in it. And if you take that out of the equation straight away, then bro, you're going to make it even harder for yourself, alright? The second reason why you are not them: he has experience and you don't. And experience is an extremely powerful thing in any walk in life, okay? The reason why this is because through gaining this experience, through all of the years he's been training for, because he's advanced, he knows what works for him and he knows his body well. Therefore, that training program he's done is tailored around him and his needs, potentially what muscle groups he needs to bring up, his strong points, his weak points, is probably based around his diet, his work week, how many times he can afford to train a week if he's doing work, all of this stuff. And it doesn't necessarily consider you in this situation, okay? I can completely understand why you would do this because it has worked for him. However, you need to just consider, right, when trying to follow someone's training program, that that this is built around their needs and not necessarily yours, okay? It doesn't take into consideration the amount of time you've been going to the gym for. It doesn't take into consideration how good you are at being consistent in the gym. It doesn't take into consideration the intensity that you're able to train at, okay? It doesn't take into consideration, all of these different things, all right? So that's just something else that you've got to consider when, trying to mimic an advanced lifter. The third reason why this is not going to work and why you're not them is because you haven't built your foundations yet. Linking back to what I said about the experience, that guy, the advanced lifter, has got years and years of experience. Therefore, he built his foundations. He built a very solid layer, within his foundations, all right? And what I mean by the foundations is learning the basics, getting consistency dialed in and locked in, and all of this stuff at the start of your gym journey. However, if you're trying to do the things that the advanced lifter is doing, then you're completely skipping past the foundations. And as I've talked about in many different videos, if you are new to the channel, because I've had a little bit of an influx of new people in here, so welcome. What I mean by building the foundations is I want you guys to think about it like building a house, okay? Builders building a house is the example I like to use, alright? So in order for a house to stay up and actually be stable, every house has to have a foundation underneath it. And what I mean by builders building a foundation and you haven't built your foundations yet, if you skip past the foundations and try and do all of the advanced shit, then because you haven't built your foundations beneath, you are simply going to crumble, just like a house does. Because when a house doesn't have a foundation underneath, it will literally crumble straight away. And another example is like builders trying to build the top of the house before building the foundations on the bottom of the house. It simply doesn't work, alright? So what you've got to prioritize is not necessarily training to failure, you know, eating in a perfect calorie surplus every day with an absolute pristine diet like advanced lifters may be doing. And what you need to realize is they can do that because they have had all the experience. They've been through the times where they've been eating shit food, where they may not necessarily been as consistent, and they've been trying to work on consistency. They haven't been training to failure. They were learning the basics, and this is what you've got to do if you eventually want to get to that stage of physique, intensity, training, health, all of that stuff, okay? And inevitably, if you follow this stuff, you will most likely quit, and you'll be in that never-ending never-ending cycle of starting and quitting and starting and quitting. And that's because you simply will not be able to keep up, okay? As I've sort of touched on with the previous points, he has experience and you don't. He's built his foundations and you haven't. Therefore, for example, if he's giving you a 5-day program, you know, the best 5-day program for muscle growth, okay, and you try and follow that. However, because you're a beginner and because you're a rookie, you've not necessarily got consistent with the gym yet. For example, you may not necessarily be consistent with going to the gym 3 times a week. However, because this advanced lifter says to you, oh no, you've got to go to the gym 5 times a week to make these good gains, you start going to the gym 5 times a week before you've even mastered going to the gym 3 times a week. And then because you haven't built those foundations, you know, going to the gym 3 times a week and being consistent, after 2 weeks you're inevitably going to flop, right? After that initial spike in motivation goes, you're just going to go downhill, alright? So that is the first reason why mimicking an advanced lifter isn't necessarily, sorry, I'm just flicking my plan, why it necessarily isn't a good idea, alright? So that is basically why mimicking an advanced lifter in your early stages is not going to work. Now, I've established why. Now we need to establish what we are going to do moving forward, okay? So moving back to building the foundations, we've got to build that foundational layer first, because as I said, if we build up without building the bottom, then we're simply going to crumble no matter how far up we get here, okay? So we basically just got to stick to the basics, okay? So what I mean by this, learn proper form in the gym, learn how exercises work, learn different exercise techniques, develop that mind muscle connection with your muscles, okay? Don't be ego lifting and trying to lift the heaviest weight in the gym. What you need to be doing is being sensible, okay? Doing exercises you enjoy, not doing a very highly demanding gym routine, and I'll get onto that in a second. Not necessarily eating in a pristine, healthy, calorie surplus 5 meals a day, 300 grams of protein every day, because that simply won't work for you. And what you've got to be doing is just increasing your protein, slowly working up towards that calorie surplus, okay? And I don't think I clarified it at the beginning of the video. My content is tailored towards skinny men who want to bulk and gain muscle, so that's why I'm talking about a surplus. You want to be, yeah, not training to failure and doing all this ridiculously high intensity shit, because to be honest with you, your body doesn't even need that at the start to grow, because your muscles are so sensitive to stimulation. You literally have to do the least in order to grow at the beginning. So you don't need to be training to failure. You don't need to be training at a ridiculously high intensity. You don't necessarily need to be even going to the gym 5 times a week. And as I said earlier, I wouldn't necessarily suggest going to the gym 5 times a week straight away, because you want to be consistent and you want to develop these good habits for the long term. Therefore, I would highly suggest sticking to a gym routine that would, you know, that's very low demanding, very simple, very basic, with all the simple exercises where you'd only go 3 times a week. And as a matter of fact, I have a free workout program, a 3-day workout program for you guys. It's very simple, very easy to follow, and perfect for, you know, getting consistent with the gym in my free community below called the SlimToSculpt Alliance, where we have a mission to help as many skinny men bulk and gain muscle as possible. If you want to actually make a change in 2025 and you don't necessarily want to be in this loop of starting and quitting anymore, then it's completely free. I've got so much going on there. We've got 170 plus people in there, so it would be an absolute pleasure to have you and help you beyond these YouTube videos. So as I said, if you want to access that free program that you can get started with, that will help you build the foundations, learn the basics and all of that good stuff, then it's going to be in my free community in the top link in the description. But without further ado, that is now the end of this video. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate your time, and I hope I've taught you something about, you know, why mimicking advanced lifters and doing, you know, doing what people of 10 years are doing may not necessarily work for you. I hope you can understand how that works. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, drop a like, a comment, you know, any constructive criticism, any positive feedback, any negative feedback about the video. And ultimately, if you have enjoyed, then if you want to stay around, drop a subscription. Uploading every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. So without further ado, I will see you guys in the next video.